So this is the new output from the Holley Dominator here. This is the third gear firm. This is what I'm calling this. It's just anytime you get into third gear, whether it's an upshift or a downshift, how is the firm feel going to act? So you can tune that, and I'm trying to make this easy numbers, 0 to 100. For the end user on my end, it's a bunch of other numbers, but 0 meaning weak and smooth, 100 meaning firm as hell. So it's just a pulse width setup for the output. And let me just show you how this works here. I have a screen. I'll just have to minimize this one a little bit. Alright, so you can see my actual throttle position. This is my TCM on this side. So my TPS is also tapped into the gas pedal. Now we're looking at it like the 2-3. This really should just be a 3 overlap, because anytime you get into 3, whether it's an upshift or a downshift, these numbers are going to change depending on this graph. So right now we're live, we're online, we're down here. I'm going to move this, and you're going to watch the 2-3 number go up and down as I'm moving the gas pedal. These are those overlaps. Callie, we're calling this the handoffs. Alright. So now you're actually changing my overlap numbers and values with the Holley output. So you can see here, just for shits and giggles, that says 55, right? Watch that 2-3. I'm going to put 100 in there and hit enter. And boom. So, see the reaction time of that though? It's a little slow. I'm going to speed that up. But again, that's on my end. By the way, it works. So the handoffs are now capable of being, tuned with the. It's hard to do this while watching a phone. And we got one for each of the. First gear, I may have to just make that a pressure dump, but I'll figure something out. But each of the gears, the lockup firm, that's actually gonna go away. I have a different one for that. Right here, the mile/hour lockup. This is when you're not. This is when you're in like manual mode, and this is just an output that I just made up here. So you go to pulse width. So you pick a gear. You want it to. So this one, 6th gear, you got to be in, and it turns off when you're, back down to 5th gear. And same sort of thing. Oh, still holding my foot on the gas. Set your mile an hour down here, and we were figuring out 1 mile an hour difference where you actually wanted it. Put a window in there for yourself. If you want wide open throttle lockups, go all the way up. But for the most part, this would be your daily use. This would be your street driving. So if it's like a, drag and drive car, you're gonna want to get up into that higher gear. Just have the lockup kick on, get rid of that, 4500 stall you have. This will do the job, and you won't have to, work off any other tune parameters. This will just always be there. And again, when you go to the track or something like that, you could just turn this off. Bloop. And now you work off the track one, which would be, I'll turn it back on before we exit here. You go back to transmission. And go to converter lockup. You have just this one output. You would set this up to work. Let's see, we go scroll down. Now what's cool about this is there's an offset for this per gear I was shown. So I just put this to 1, and the multiplier does a multiplying up to 100%. So I just put a 1 here. I'm guessing you put a 0. 0 times 100 is a 0. So you put a 1 here across the board, right? And then what we do is we go up into the advanced tables. You go to your 1D per gear table here. Let's say pulse width modulated lockup. And then here is your lockup setup. So this is for first gear, and these are just random numbers I threw in just to test. Haven't test in the car on the lift, not even running, just to watch the values on my end move. So you're gonna want this to ramp in a lot faster than this. This will kill your converter, but you can pulse this. So if you wanted to, you can fade it in if it's a little aggressive. And you got 6 gears since it's a 6L80, 6L90. You know, I just have them all set up the same in here. You know, but you let go of the trans brake. First gear takes, you know, let's say you take off actually in first gear. Let's say you have a 400, 500 horse car, you're still using first gear. You know, or a Corvette or something, or a truck. You know, with the heavy weight, you use that first, you take off. We could set up these mile-an-hours. Let's say 30 miles an hour. All right, let's say you get up to, you know, 18 miles an hour here, and you just want the lockup to kick, you know, 75% on and then go to 100. You can do that. Then the next gear you can do a different thing. So that's kind of neat. This is for fourth gear, so I have to figure out, but you do your math and you figure out what gear gets you from your minimum to your maximum, where you'd want the lockup range to be. You don't have to go to full, you know, min-max of that RPM, but let's say you wanted to run this, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we can run this off, well, I'm live, I can't change it, hold on, let's see, I think I can just run this off engine RPM, if you want to just go that way, and then come down here, and you change this RPM to, on the high end, the latest you want this thing probably to kick on, let's say is 7,000. And then the earliest you want this thing to kick on and shut off, and not be on yet, let's say would be, you know, 5,500 or something. So there's your range. So 5,500 comes in. So right now it looks like 6,200. It's going to start kicking this thing on, and then it'll ramp it up. Okay, so that's what you got.